Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're unlocking one of the greatest mysteries in the world of A Song of Ice and Fire, the Faceless Men. These aren't your average assassins. They're an ancient, shadowy order with a connection to some of the most important events in the history of both Essos and Westeros. From the mines of Valyria to the halls of power in BRAAVOS and beyond, the Faceless Men have been pulling the strings of death for centuries. If you've ever wondered who these silent killers really are, where they came from, and what their ultimate goals might be, stay tuned. We're going deep into their origins, culture, and rituals, but also into some lesser-known theories about their involvement in events that shape the world. Get ready for a dark, fascinating journey. To truly understand the Faceless Men, we have to start at the beginning, deep in the volcanic slave mines of Valyria. Imagine being a slave in one of the most powerful empires the world had ever known. You're forced to work in the blazing heat, digging for precious resources in the heart of active volcanoes. The Valyrians, with their dragons and magic, showed no mercy. It was brutal. It was hell. But in the darkest of places, a strange philosophy was born. The slaves from all corners of the world prayed for death. They prayed to their gods, whether it was the red god of R'hllor, the black goat of Qohor, or even the stranger from Westeros. But the first Faceless Man saw something deeper. He believed that all these gods were just different faces of the same god, the god of death. And so he granted his first gift, a merciful end to a fellow slave who longed for release. This act of mercy became the foundation for what would eventually grow into a religious movement, the cult of the many-faced god. The belief that death is not an ending but a gift took hold. The Faceless Men began working in secret, bringing death not just to slaves but eventually to anyone whose time, they believed, had come. Death became sacred, a ritual offering to the many-faced god. And this is where the line between assassin and priest begins to blur. After the destruction of Valyria, many of the slaves who had adopted this philosophy fled to BRAAVOS, a city itself founded by slaves escaping the Valyrian freehold. The city's secrecy, hidden within the misty lagoons, made it the perfect sanctuary for the Faceless Men. As BRAAVOS grew, so did their order. The philosophy of mercy through death spread within the city's walls, and it was here that they established their ultimate sanctuary, the House of Black and White. In BRAAVOS, they established their sanctuary, the House of Black and White. But this is no ordinary temple. It's a place of worship, yes, but it's also a place of death. Inside, you'll find statues of death gods from cultures across the world, all representations of the many-faced god. And in the center, a still, dark pool. People come here to pray, not for life, but for an end. The water from the pool grants the gift, death, for those who are ready to accept it. But the House of Black and White isn't just a place for people to seek their own deaths. The Faceless Men use this water to end lives discreetly and without pain. The rituals here are sacred. Those who come to die are cleansed, prepared, and then granted the final release. Death is not seen as an enemy here, but as a companion. But here's the thing. The Faceless Men aren't just a death cult. They act as silent enforcers of balance within BRAAVOS. While they don't publicly take part in the politics of the city, their presence alone is enough to keep powerful forces in check. Some say the mere threat of a Faceless Man is enough to keep the ruling powers of BRAAVOS in line. It's a quiet form of control, where power is exercised through fear, not action. To become a Faceless Man, you must first become no one. This is one of the most difficult parts of their training. You have to give up everything, your name, your past, your identity. Only when you let go of who you are can you truly serve the many-faced god. We saw Arya struggle with this. Holding on to her identity, her desire for revenge, was a direct conflict with the teachings of the Faceless Men. Becoming no one isn't just about changing your face. It's about losing yourself completely. One of the most unique and terrifying abilities of the Faceless Men is their power to wear the faces of the dead. These faces are carefully removed, preserved through ancient rituals, and stored in the House of Black and White. But wearing a face isn't just a disguise. The Faceless Men take on the entire identity of the person they're mimicking, their voice, their movements, even their memories. To do this, they must mentally become no one, fully surrendering to the new persona they wear. And this transformation isn't just physical. When a faceless man wears a face, they mentally embody that person. They're able to act and think like them. It's almost as if the dead are brought back to life, but through the body of a faceless man. This is why they're so effective as assassins, because they aren't just pretending to be someone else. They are someone else. This process of becoming no one is deeply tied to their worship of the many-faced god. By losing their identity, the Faceless Men believe they're serving the will of their god, the god of death in all his forms. This act of sacrifice, of losing oneself, is a form of devotion, and each kill they make is an offering to their deity. In this way, every death they deliver isn't just an assassination, it's a prayer. Now, let's talk about one of the most intriguing fan theories out there. Some believe that the Faceless Men were directly responsible for one of the most catastrophic events in history, the doom of Valyria. While it's not confirmed, it's possible that they orchestrated the downfall of their former masters. The theory suggests that the Faceless Men infiltrated Valyria, used their skills to sabotage the volcanic mountains, and caused the eruption that wiped out the Valyrian freehold. It's poetic in a way, slaves bringing down the empire that once enslaved them. The Faceless Men aren't just assassins for hire, they're also players in the world's political game. From BRAAVOS to Westeros, they've been used by kings, merchant princes, and lords to remove their rivals. They operate in the shadows, and their influence stretches far beyond the walls of the House of Black and White. We know the Iron Bank of BRAAVOS has a connection with them. When debts can't be settled with gold, the Faceless Men are called in to settle them with death. And their reach isn't limited to BRAAVOS. They've carried out assassinations across Essos and Westeros, changing the course of history with each death. From the free cities to the great houses of Westeros, their influence has shaped the world more than most realize. Are the Faceless Men really just assassins for hire, or is there something more to their work? Some believe that their true goal is far greater than simply serving the highest bidder. What if the Faceless Men are working toward a larger, more cosmic goal? They believe in death as a gift, after all. Could they be preparing for something much darker, something more final? And then there's the theory about the White Walkers. Both the Faceless Men and the White Walkers serve death, but in very different ways. The White Walkers seek to bring an eternal death to all living things, while the Faceless Men see death as a natural part of life. But what if the Faceless Men see the White Walkers as a necessary force of balance? What if the ultimate gift they seek to deliver is the end of all life through the White Walkers? So, that's the story of the Faceless Men, a group so secretive and powerful that their actions have likely changed the world without anyone ever knowing. From their origins in the Valyrian mines to their involvement in some of the biggest mysteries of A Song of Ice and Fire, the Faceless Men are truly one of the most intriguing and terrifying organizations in the world. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more lore-filled videos like this one. And as always, let me know what you think. Are the Faceless Men simply assassins, or are they something much darker? Valor Morgulis. Until next time,